Yeah, I'll see. I'll ask him what the name is.
It is 6 o'clock. We're going to call this meeting to order. If we could ask Boy Scout Robert Heisel to come up and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance, if y'all would stand with us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Alderman Miller, would you lead us in an invocation?
Thank you. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, once again we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity that you have given each and every one of us to serve. We ask you, Heavenly Father, also that whatever decision that we make on tonight, that they be pleasing in thy sight. And Lord, we continue, Lord, to thank you for this great country, this great state, this great city that we live in. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The agenda is approved. I have a motion to approve the docket of claim numbers listed in your agenda.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Item 6 is to approve the minutes from the regular Mayor and Board of Aldermen meeting of August 5th, 2025. Y'all have an amended set of minutes that were emailed to you earlier today and are laying on your desk. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion is amended.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that motion passes. Item 7 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The consent agenda passes. I have a motion on the personnel docket.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the personnel docket passes. Item 9 is the discussion on the 2025-26 Hernando High School football sponsorship opportunities. I think y'all had a list of those from the Booster Club. Is Mr. Dunlap here? Yes. Going to come up and speak for just a minute? Good to see you again.
You too. What we got? What questions we got? Y'all know I emailed it to everybody.
Yeah, you want to just tell the board kind of what y'all are going to be doing there with the new scoreboard and how you're going to be advertising and what the need is?
That's the main point of they're pushing this year is the digital advertising. The Booster Club secured funds through extensive fundraising to construct the jumbotron that they built there this year. I think it may be the last thing on the list. There is a couple of items that the high school is actually going to do. They have the Hernando Tiger Sports Network that live streams all sports events at the high school. So there's options to have commercials that play during that live stream. There's options to have commercials, 15 to 20 second commercial that will go on the jumbotron, as well as just business logos, that sort of thing that will appear randomly throughout the game during the football games. So they're really trying to steer people toward that method these days because we lost a lot of real estate when we moved. We gained real estate, but we lost a lot of real estate to put signs. We have less
Right.
space now to put signs and stuff like that, so we're trying to move more toward the digital realm.
Anybody have questions or thoughts on it?
We have I know we've got, would this be within like a certain advertising budget that we have, or is it a
Yeah,
donation
it would be
budget?
under the
or what?
the promotions or donations in the tourism budget. We've got a set amount of money in that budget. I think it's 20,000 if I'm remembering right.
We could, before our next, we can put this on this request on the list. I know we have several that have been sponsored in the past, several organizations have been sponsored in the past, and we can get that list before the next meeting and we can kind of prioritize what we want to do.
Okay.
I think it'd be great, especially with it being a brand-new stadium. It'd be nice to be able to be a part of it some kind of way. That's just my take.
Have a home game before the.
For the next meeting.
Okay.
That's a good point.
And I believe there are 7 home games this year. That won't happen again for quite some time. 7 out of 10 are.
Man, how'd y'all get that set up?
I didn't do that. I have no idea how they managed to pull that one off.
How much do we give the band? Do we give the band, do the flags and stuff?
So, the band puts out all the flags, which is a kind of a service we're paying them for. That's $5,000 a year.
Can we do something in this budget year that
That's what I'm looking at right now.
or does
See,
it have to wait until the next budget?
We have got about $1,250 left in the promotions that is not spent in this year's budget.
And no pending?
I don't know of any
invoices?
pending ones. Those are usually all wrapped up by now.
And what you could do is that, approve that amount in this budget, then when we do our next budget, then we look at it there, when we look at all the other requests for donations.
Okay.
And then that way we won't be treating the high school any different than we treat everybody else with donation.
Makes good
As
sense.
already been spoken, we'll put them on the list with the rest of them, and we could approve 1,200 tonight, and then, move forward from there. And that would be, treating everybody fairly. I mean, it wouldn't be.
Y'all just want to make a motion to do 1,200, then I can work with Daniel to figure out which of these makes the most sense for the city to advertise.
Yeah, that'll for sure put you a commercial on the Jumbotron, and we can probably figure something else out as well. So,
And when you make the motion, we need to, in the motion, say that we are advertising the goodwill and resources of the city with this money. Anybody wants to make a motion?
Motion to that effect.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes.
thank you.
Also, could we ask the Booster Club also to look at and see if all the in-kind service that we do for the school, that could elevate our donation like we did with other projects?
100%. I'll make sure that happens.
Because we do a lot of in-kind service to the schools and things, and so that should push us up a little higher. And we get more bang for the dollar, that's what I'm saying, in
100%.
other words,
I like it.
because of in-kind service that we're already doing.
I'll make sure to
You
take care of you.
Thank you.
And
All right.
holler at me tomorrow.
I will.
So we can get this
That
wrapped
makes
up.
sense.
All right, perfect. Thank
Thank
y'all.
you for being here. Thank you. All right. Item 10 is the approval to extend the emergency declaration of May 19th for 30 days due to the county burn pit access and other assistance from DeSoto County Road Department. To be a little clearer, but still vague, we're not going to spend any more money on this emergency declaration, but when I asked Robert Jarman if we could end it, he said due to some of the stuff they're doing at the burn pits, he thinks we need to keep it open so they can legally keep doing that stuff. But we are not asking the board to allow us to expend any other money, just keep us under the emergency declaration.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 11 is the approval for the engagement letter and completion of the 2024 municipal compliance questionnaire, and to allow me to sign it. This is something that the clerk's office puts together, and they answer all of those questions that you had in your packet, and we have to get it signed and turned in. Are there any questions on it? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 12 is the approval to apply for the cybersecurity grant of $63,660 that has no match from FEMA for the dispatch department. So just to be very clear, there is no match, so if we get the grant, we won't be adding any extra expense to our budget.
Motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, item 13 is to work towards approval of the fiscal year 26 budget and to publish it. So we have sent out a budget that y'all, well, we sent out another budget on Friday that y'all got in your packet. That was a balanced version of what we'd given y'all the time before. And we are now open to discussion, questions, thoughts on how y'all want to proceed, items you might want to change. So anybody that wants to can lead off.
I'd like to make a statement for the record, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Alderman Miller.
And this to all our department heads within the city of Hernando. And I would like to personally thank each of you for the sacrifice you have made in reducing your budget since our last meeting. You have been able to accomplish this without putting at risk the safety or the welfare of anyone within the city of Hernando. Your dedication, wisdom, and commitment to responsible stewardship of the city's resources are commendable. So on behalf, I believe, all our leadership here in the city and our citizens, I want to publicly extend my gratitude for your effort and your continued service to our community. Thank you for what you have already done. And I can make this part of the record.
Thank you for those words, Alderman Miller.
Thank you.
Well deserved by the department heads, for sure. Anybody want to talk about any certain line items or have questions or
I have
concerns?
a general question.
Yes.
So when it's saying 2024 to 2025 actual spend, one line item that stood out for me is 001-100- let me make sure I get it right, 740, and this is about vehicles in the police department. The number didn't change from the last budget to this budget. However, at our last meeting, we approved a claims docket for purchasing 5 new police vehicles. So that would have been a $185,000 change. So is that going to hit at the end of the month, or was it already taken into account at the beginning of the month?
It was taken into account in that 200, in that
Okay.
249.
So it
I
was
believe.
before we had approved it, it was already, because the money had been spent, we just
Yes.
hadn't approved it. Okay.
And so
So,
that's-
and that'd be true for every line item then? It was based on August 1st where we were at, and it hasn't been adjusted to today, for example,
So,
or no?
right, the stuff that came in y'all's packet on Friday
Yes.
was adjusted about the week before that
Okay.
to actual numbers.
And is that including outfitting them and getting them ready for service, or?
Chief is out of town today. So we still have money to spend on outfitting them.
Right.
They're not ready for that yet. That money's not been spent. That's why we're seeing an extra 100,000 left.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still sitting there. Okay.
How much does that cost per vehicle?
I would be making up numbers, and the chief or the assistant chief are not here. You're not gonna be able to answer it either? So, yeah, we will get you all that before we adopt the budget.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna write that down as a question. How much per car does outfitting cost?
And the question we had at the last meeting was, how many vehicles do we have? So fire trucks, ambulances, police cars, all of that. I was
So-
hoping we would have that today.
I
or in our
have it,
packet.
because all the department heads sent it to me, and I didn't get it printed off and sent to y'all.
That's okay.
So that is 100% on me. I have every department's, and I didn't get it
Okay.
printed off for y'all. I apologize for
Well,
that.
a piggyback on that then, and
Yep.
since Chief Ellis isn't here, we can maybe get this from him later. With the body cams, how many of those do we have? Does everybody have one, or are we working towards every officer having
I
one?
think what we're doing is replacing some that are going bad, and there's battery issues. Kyle, can you come up and speak to that, Kyle?
I'm so sorry to be putting someone else on the spot.
Numbers with you, but for the most part, every patrol officer has a body camera. Some of the specialized units have body cameras, and then when we do operations, the extras are signed out, so everybody has a recording of what
Makes
happens.
sense. Okay.
But for day-to-day use, every patrol officer, the patrol division is assigned a body camera.
Did that answer your question?
That did, yes, thank you.
Looking at the sales tax numbers, I see that there's like $100,000 more in this one than the budget 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So where did that come from?
So we're looking at actual numbers across the state.
Yeah.
And then we went back, I will say the clerk's office and Austin Cardosi, took a hard look at why our revenues for the month of August came in exactly flat.
Right,
When the rest of the state is up about 4 or 5%, it made no sense.
yeah,
So they pulled the list of all the people that are paying in sales taxes and found 50-something businesses that were erroneously saying they weren't in Hernando.
huh,
And we turned those into the Department of Revenue on Friday, I think. We don't know how much that's gonna change things.
Yeah.
But we feel like getting 55 businesses back on there and getting some back revenues that were collected by the state and not given to us was probably worthy of an extra 100,000.
okay. Now, I know we talked about the Tractor Supply. They said they're gonna be open by Black Friday.
They're not gonna be open by Black Friday.
Okay,
Austin, could you give us a little clearer
I figured.
point on when you think they might open?
Their answer is still Christmas. We're going through site plan review, we've got the plat recorded. I know they have skin in the game because we're holding a substantial check in our bank account for their required improvements.
Yeah,
And so they're gonna be pushing us as quick as possible to release that money.
right,
It's $300-something thousand. So I would say spring would be a real answer on that.
yeah.
So probably half a year of tax revenues from them, is that what you would think, Austin?
At best.
Do you think it might be wise to, because how much of their, I know you kind of adjusted for them being in the budget. How much of that is adjusted for their revenue? And was it adjusted based on?
I did not adjust for their revenue.
Okay,
So what I was doing was basically budgeting flat plus 200,000
okay,
and being conservative, saying we're not really counting their revenue, but we know at least we would be flat.
right, so that's kind of more of like
Even if the
a,
economy tanks, I feel like we could still be
Right.
safe at being close to flat.
Right,
Because
'cause
of those additions.
it's up at 3.23% year over year. Thank you, Natalie. And it's CPI is 2.7%. So I mean, it's only like 5%. So or 0.5%. So I mean, yeah, that's what $30,000, right? So that sound like it should be doable. So basically, the assumption is that $30,000 will probably be filled in by these businesses somehow.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And we know the Home 2 Suites is really close to opening, because if y'all haven't noticed, they're actually paving their private streets behind Arby's right now. They may finish that tomorrow, if not tonight.
Okay.
And the Hampton Inn is how far from being back open?
Them and Home 2 are about the same schedule. I think in the next 60 days they'll both be open.
The next 60 days?
They're very close.
Okay. Also, I noticed the transfer from surplus, it kind of ticks down every year. Are we losing money every year, or are we?
We are, yes, we're having less cash brought forward every year.
Okay.
Yep.
I had a question about one of the sub accounts. So the sub account that ends in 625 for every department, it just says insurance, so I don't know which kind of insurance it is.
Okay, so
But,
yes, that's a great question.
Can you elaborate on that one? Because I know for the benefits side, we were presented that was staying the same, but obviously there's a variety of insurances we have
Yes,
to cover.
great question. So the health insurance is in the payroll section where it says insurance. These two numbers are liability insurance for that department and property insurance.
Okay, and that's
So when you
kind
see
of
the
the
two numbers, those are actual numbers that Ed was able to get for us from our insurer. And so we're hoping that that will be a little more spot on than we've been in years past.
Okay.
We've actually gotten our numbers in earlier than usual. So those are actual numbers that are in the quote from the insurance company.
Very good. Yeah, most of them, they were a little bit up or like even Steven, so I was just curious.
Ed, do you remember off the top of your head what percentage the increase was on the Chubb?
It was 14%.
14% increase, okay.
That's
And there's
good to know.
nothing much we can do about that. It's been checked and double checked, and our resident insurance experts looked at it and says that is what it is, so.
But that one seems to have been a little over budget in past years.
Yeah.
As we progress through the year. So I'm glad we have a more firm number this time.
There was another line item that I had a question on. This one's 001-201-7. 7602 regarding landscaping service, and in the comments, it mentions the roundabout maintenance. Is that landscaping specifically on roundabouts? Because, I mean, roundabouts, one of their benefits is there is no maintenance other than chalking. So is this like flowers, grass,
Yeah,
weed
so-
killing, stuff like that there?
So we do the exit at Commerce. All of that mowing is subbed out.
Okay.
And all that maintenance, the exit at Nesbit on 55 is part of that. And one of those was in the 400 budget by mistake, and we moved it to here where it should have been. That's why you're seeing the large jump. And we are maintaining the 3 roundabouts with grass cutting and watering the flower, not watering because we have irrigation, but changing the flowers out and things of that nature. Lee, have you got a deeper explanation on that, or did I hit it right? Okay.
Okay. So the big jump then is just something. was
Something we moved
misclassified.
out of the utility
Okay.
fund that shouldn't have been there.
Okay.
It was there by mistake. But mowing those exits is fairly expensive, but I would say, something I didn't learn till it was almost too late is that MDOT will only cut twice a year. And so y'all can imagine what our exits would look like being cut twice a year. So we adopt those officially, and we've adopted the roundabout on 51, so we can maintain it to the quality we think the residents want to maintain too. And we have to pay somebody to do that for us. But they are officially adopted from MDOT through a process.
Which exits do we have? Commerce, Pleasant Hill?
Nesbit.
Do we have Mackinville at 69, or is that?
Well, we just found out we may. Like today, we got an email. We've had somebody complaining at Getwell about the stuff not being cut on the side of the road, and we thought it was MDOT's, and they have sent us something saying that it is indeed ours. And they sent us a little map that Austin and I looked at today, so Lee, we're gonna have to talk to you about that.
Oops. What about Tulane? Is that,
Nobody at Tulane's complained, but,
okay.
and the ones they sent us were just Mackinville and the Getwell. They didn't send us anything on Tulane.
Okay.
When I drive out that way, it looks like MDOT's cutting that twice a year at Tulane.
Yeah, it seems kept up pretty well.
But, and MDOT is still gonna cut their stuff. We've just got some extra stuff that was deeded back to us between the residents and the fences of the right-of-way at Getwell. We literally just found that out today.
Transfer to park. I know, I was expecting, that to be, or transfer to Parks Department. I was expecting that to be higher than it was last year because we have grants coming through for that. But I noticed it was 203,000 more than 2 weeks ago. So is there, did we learn something new there, or is there?
Well, when I gave y'all the first blush at it,
Yeah.
at the last meeting, that's when I just took all the stuff the department heads asked for, and we saw
Right.
how upside down that was. But we got down to brass tacks in the Parks Department.
Yeah.
And they were still 203 upside down. So their only other option for revenues is a transfer from the general fund.
Okay.
So that's why that was added to that number, to get them balanced.
What's that for? Just
Just all their stuff together.
Yeah, is it just, yeah.
Not for any specific line item in there, it's
It's
just.
just for operating.
So I was just assuming it was something to do with Renaissance Park, but,
Because part of the parts
Well,
is done off millage, and the millage do not take care of the total cost of operating the park department, so the rest are coming from the general fund. Unless, which we didn't do, because we can't do now, unless you look at up in the millage that we got designated for parks.
okay,
We got, the amount of millage set aside,
Right.
designated for park, and the rest of it come out the general fund for regular operating
gotcha.
of that department.
It's not for any specific item, it just is helping
Bas-
cover all expenses.
Right, so basically because they have an allocated section of the millage designated to them, as the millage went down, their funding requirements from the general fund went up. Gotcha, okay. And I see we still have the assistant parks director in there as well, right? For
Yes.
half the year?
For half the year.
Gotcha.
And we also kept the P4 police officer in the budget for half a year.
Yeah.
and did not get the receptionist position in the police department. We X'd that one out.
Right. Might it be good to have the police officer for the full year and X the assistant director of the parks?
If you look at the, if you
Oh,
look
well,
at
they're
the total of the, I mean, me personally, if you look at the number of personnel that we have in the parks department, and everything that they've been tasked with additionally, they
Yeah.
just don't have the manpower. They actually understaffed even with getting that person half a year. I mean, if you look at all the departments, and you look at the number of personnel, the number of personnel have been increased, some been increased twofold. Fire have gained more people. The paramedic gained more people. Police, fire, public works has gained more people. If you look at all the departments, the one that we have shortchanged in personnel is been parks. And I think, how much increase we got right now in participation for this year?
We're above the 4-year average.
And,
In youth sports, is that what you're talking about?
yeah, and that's,
And younger car, yeah, everything's up.
And we've also got to be planning for the new Renaissance Park stuff to come online as well.
When will, so I guess it's the maintenance to the new Renaissance Park. When will, maintenance requirements increase in earnest at Renaissance Park?
Spring,
Yeah. When are those going to be operational? Like, when are the fields going to be, like, ready for people to start?
Probably fall, right, Jared?
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I just think about the fact that we need a new ambulance, we need, apparently we have new police officers that we require. I would think if we're prioritizing things and limited resources, that's where we might put it. But I look at the workflow chart on the Parks Department. I do think the workflow could be reorganized to be more productive if people had more specialized positions within the department. But that's just my opinion.
And I think that's probably where part of this is coming in, is getting that assistant parks director will help.
I mean, even without increasing headcount, but.
you can, I mean, if you got so much work to do and you just don't have the people, you can't make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't. I mean, you can't, and each year, and I know this is your first year being there, but each year, we have sacrificed the Parks Department by not giving them the resources they need. I think Alderman Wimpey and also Alderman Piper have been working, coaching and things like that. Have y'all seen the increase?
Yeah, I mean, it's tenfold.
I mean, but have we did that with personnel with them?
And Jared may could speak to that. I think he's asked for this position for a couple of years, I believe.
That's what I'm saying. So, but each year, we push them back down.
And I will, just for a history lesson, we had an assistant parks director years ago when we had less stuff going on.
Right.
And we ended up getting rid of that position just for money reasons, but I think it's time for it again.
I looked at the increase in spend for the public safety, like when you get down to the total on that, so it's the line item, the last one in the 001-160 section, and it was a 4% year-over-year increase. Finance Committee, do you guys have the, year-over-year increase for the Parks Department? Just by chance. I just happened to do that one, and I know you got your laptop, Natalie, I'm not trying to pick on you, Alderman Lynch.
From that is the expenditures from parks.
Yeah, like what we're planning on spending year over year, the percentage change.
Capital. General services, 31%. That's for the
And a big chunk of it is going to be the $2 million grant that we're going to spend.
For sure.
From Blue Cross
So
Blue
not to
Shield.
say that all of it's coming out of our pockets, some of it might be reimbursed through grants and other things, but the total expenditure, I guess is kind of what I'm getting at is, are we giving them more money now, perhaps? To Alderman Miller's point, that they're maybe not being neglected this year.
But they're not in personnel, though.
Yeah.
So that's the, yes, you
But
correct,
this
they get more
includes the
money.
personnel, though. It includes the parks, the assistant parks director, correct? Like, it didn't get axed from what I saw. It was still up
No,
there.
6 months.
Right, the half year. I apologize, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
What was the,
Well, I just don't want to give the wrong
No, I know,
number,
for sure.
but
what was the total head count when we had an assistant parks director before?
That was in 2000.
I know, it's ancient history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not know.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't, the capital expenditures that we're putting into parks is significant with Renaissance Park, the expansion of the ball fields, the purchase of the Civic Center. You know, we've added a lot. I just think we need more staff for that.
See, I mean, if it was that we needed more like workmen, I would see that a lot, but it's more administration. I just don't.
Well,
I
I'm
don't know.
sure that pretty much the administrators are also working out there too. They're,
Yeah, the supervisors are, but I don't know if like, as far as like doing like park maintenance, because that's where I would think, you know, a lot of the expenditures would come from, and maybe you could speak to that better. But, you know, I would see that, I would get that. It's just, in more administration, it just doesn't, I just don't see it, but.
If, from what I see, and I'm out there every day, what I see just throughout the city, I could take in the department and say the same thing. Our managers are working.
Yeah.
They're not behind a desk.
yeah.
I could see that, but they are actually hands-on, eyes-on, and then they're also able to take a step back and look at the overall big picture at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We just chose to disagree. I don't think, we can, agree to disagree on
Right.
that. I think it's
Yeah.
a position that should
I think it should stay there.
should stay, and I think
I mean,
reducing it to 6 months is really, they should be there for a whole year, but like I said, they had to make some decision,
Yeah.
and then the decision was made, to do it for 6 months, so.
I
I mean,
think,
that proposal, ain't nothing approved yet.
Right.
Because we know tonight the budget won't be approved, as some would think, because it's still, we're still discussing things.
Right.
I mean, the title may be administrative, but I think it's going to go deeper than that. I think they're going to be out there chalking fields if needed,
Yeah.
Do we have a job description for it already out there?
Yes, we do, and I need to email it to y'all.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. For sure.
I have a question on another line item, or if.
I'm good,
Is
yeah.
it good discussion on that? Okay. So this one is 102-650-742. This is about the water tower at Byhalia and Getwell. I was just wondering, and perhaps I missed it somewhere else, is there any way we can get support from county, state, anything to help with that? Because it is a pretty big expenditure there, and if there is, I apologize that I don't see it in there married up on there, so.
So those are the
enlighten me,
ARPA
please.
funds.
Okay, it is coming from there. All
So
right.
those are specific from the ARPA funds. It's hard to project that one, but basically, we're going to spend the money in there, get the match money from the state.
Okay.
And there is enough there to handle those two projects. They were budgeted within
Okay.
that. So it's that and the downtown sewer work. Those are the ones that we were funded out of the ARPA. And this board elected to use it all for water and sewer so we could get the match money.
Fabulous, I just want to make sure.
I want to talk about salaries for a minute, the 3% raise. Kip, you made a Facebook post.
Yeah.
I guess after the meeting, saying that the in the packet, the mayor and the board was
Yeah.
3%?
Yeah.
Can you show me in your packet where the mayor recommended 3% for him?
Let's see, it was more in the original thing. Are you saying it's not?
Yes, it's not.
Okay. Well, it's just the board then.
Yeah,
If we could
but-
remove that, that'd
but-
be good.
Yeah, and you ran on being transparent, correct?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you make that post, I get calls all the time, and I'm sure Chip got a lot of calls. When you post something, make sure it's facts, be transparent.
Yeah, I didn't run on being
You're
infallible.
looking at every other line item on this item, why didn't you see his?
If I can interject, Alderman
Glad,
Robinson.
absolutely.
So the header that we got, I mean, when you get a newspaper article and the header says one thing, that's what you kind of take. And it does say 3% payroll increase across the board, as it did say on the budget last time. It also
yeah,
said
it's
not
on-
balanced and said not balanced. Now, if
But,
those were incorrect, then
No,
why would
on
that
thi-
be the
yeah.
headline?
Are you
On
looking?
this sheet that we got last week, it says, Chip Johnson, on the admin sheet, it says, it has the 3% raise on it. It says $2,000 and it goes to 78,000. Now, if that's not right, then that's whatever. But at the same time, that's the information I've got,
That
right?
sheet, yeah, let's look at it. It's, look at the current and look what he projected. It's the same identical number to the penny. Everything else is 3%.
Well, it's not on, like, the actual aggregate amount is not on there. It just has on there, it has the 3% raise and it has $2,000 there.
Let me show you.
But it matches the rate from the prior year.
Yet I think it'd be easier for you to call Chip or email Chip instead of put a Facebook post. Think about that?
And my whole thing about
I read the
this-
header and
Yeah.
I said what it said.
It says
so-
3% on the header, like, it literally says it
Right.
right
But
there.
you're
Why
looking
would
at
we
every other
have to
line
go
item on
through-
this.
Could we,
Go line item by line item.
could we not get down, let's not get down the weeds tonight. I think,
I mean, look,
And that's just one post.
it says on here, it has everyone itemized. It has it goes through everyone's raise amount. It has on there 2%. Now, when you aggregate that all together, if it's buried down in there, whatever. But like, maybe our reporting should be a little bit better so that so that there's not all these mixed
Maybe
signals
you
on
should
these.
read each person's salary before you post something.
could we move on, I think?
One thing, I mean, the point is that what you posted was incorrect, and it was a bit misleading. How you got there is kind of irrelevant. It was wrong, and that's it.
I'll amend the statement. Aldermen shouldn't get pay raises. Are we good with that?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we've done that
Aldermen should
before.
know that.
Okay.
I don't think
Well,
it's,
that's fine. Now, in that post, did I get on there and say everyone's terrible and how dare they put this in here? No. I said my opinion, which was that we should not get pay raises in a year where taxes have gone, where our tax collections are more than they otherwise would have been, where we received a tax increase. That's the spirit of the post. Now, if you want to get in there and say that one word in there was incorrect, that's fine.
Every
But-
post you put, you got one word.
Incorrect.
Every post.
No, that's incorrect. Now, but the reality is, what I was saying is, and I stand by that. Now, if it's in there, if it's not in there, if this was put in here incorrectly, if there were mixed messages within what we received, whatever. I apologize if that wasn't in there. However, it's still in, I'll amend the statement. I'll say the Board of Aldermen shouldn't get pay raises. And if y'all are good with that, I'm fine with that. But y'all are acting like I got on there and just ran y'all in the mud, and the reality is, you just didn't like it. Now, you could have gone on the comments and you could have said, I agree, we shouldn't. But no, you wait till the meeting, and then you come
I
out.
went to an open public meeting to discuss pending city
That's
business.
fine. But we don't have to wait until an open meeting to say our opinions about the city business. We can voice that, and we can say that.
That's correct,
Now,
but you stated an incorrect fact. You said
Okay,
that one of
I
the
was given-
easiest
Look,
cuts.
we're about to move on, but,
that's fine. I'm happy to move on.
and I think I've told you in privately, I'm not gonna call you out on Facebook.
You've
I'm
also
tired
told
of
me
it.
in private that I'm not going to get anything that I want done, and that you're not going to support anything that I do. So I'm not really looking to you to support me on anything, right? So, and if you're gonna make calls to me every time I make a post, even if it's right, just because you don't like
There hadn't been
it,
one
that's
right.
fine. So,
I can't support
I
something.
think, can we just move on?
We can move on.
I'm in agreement with, the generic statement that was made. I don't think we as a board should, accept a 3% increase. I think it should be
Agreed.
zero out. It's like the same thing I said about laptops, and they pull them. I don't think that laptops should be purchased for, but I do think that the mayor should be increased by 3%. He didn't recommend a 3% increase for himself. That's left up to the board.
100%.
But I do think that as him as the chief administrative person for the city, that he's deserving of that 3% rate. That's Miller now. But I agree with Alderman Kitchen that the board should not, that we should, take it out.
Right.
So can we keep ours flat, give the mayor 3%?
That's what I would be.
Whatever the difference is, put in contingency.
and I really think administration, well, elected officials generally shouldn't, and that's not a dig at Mayor Johnson, or that's not about merit anyway, or in any way. I just think the elected officials in this year should take a pass.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, I didn't say there's anything else.
What else y'all got?
Just, I guess, one last thing I want to clarify here is, in the interest of transparency, Facebook versus newspapers, Facebook is something that people are on more often, and the information that we get in our packets, I take as gospel, right? So when it says at the very top, XYZ thing, or that something's on the budget, I believe that with my whole heart. There's no way I can get full answers on that until Monday or Tuesday if something's wrong on it, right? Even if I asked right then. So I'm not going to be blowing up everybody's phones over the weekend. So we just, as we're assembling things, need to be very careful, attention to detail on what we're putting in on here.
So I think what we're talking about is, just so the public knows, is we were working from a spreadsheet that we sent out 2.5 weeks ago that said this sheet includes a 3% payroll increase across the board. The budget is not completely balanced, so we will work together in the meeting. We used the same spreadsheet to continue changing. When it was sent out, the header on there was not changed. So as soon as someone brought it to my attention that it was a big issue on Facebook, I sent a message out on an email on Saturday night saying, we're sorry, we didn't change the header. This is a balanced budget.
Yes. And
A
as soon
phone
as
call to me could have answered
Yeah.
that, and I'm always available for phone calls. I had 3 phone calls from Alderman over the weekend, and I'm good with it.
And I will say, as soon as it was pointed out to me that my statement was incorrect, I did correct it on there and apologized that I was reading what was on the paperwork that was given to me and that it was incorrect.
What else y'all want to change or talk about?
Do we want to talk about our finance meeting that we, what
Yeah, you wanna
Chad's,
leave?
I was
well-
gonna dive into some of that, yep.
I mean, well, Chad, you brought an idea of, you want to talk about yours?
So just what I asked for was I would call a flat budget from spending levels from last year, and then we can go back and add in. I know there's a mandatory PERS increase of, I think, 1.5% or something like that. So that was already added in, but then we could add in the Parks Director position or the police officer position or some of the other things we know we want to do. I think we're going to fix the roof at the Gale Center and kind of get that total up and match that with our revenue, basically. Is that pretty much what we talked about?
Yeah. We also talked about, we felt like raises were important. I think the mayor said, we're asking all our people to work with little, and we need to take care of our people.
A budget like this I've been doing this a long time. I've done this for 15, 20 years. So a lot of times, all you can really cut is CapEx expenses, and that's kind of where we're at now, cutting that out of the budget. That's vehicles, excavator, I think you want an excavator or whatever in your budget. So that's what we're kind of getting to now. That's just This number's on a page.
And we want more of contingency than what we've got right now.
But y'all, I guess this, and that's the downside of a finance committee, is that you got 3 votes already with the recommendation that you bring out. So all you need is one more to pass.
We're not making any recommendations today, though.
Could I finish?
Go ahead,
Let me
Alderman
finish.
Miller.
Is that, as we said earlier, our department heads and everything, along with the mayor and others, have also worked on this budget and got it to the point it is now. If we want to just strip it down flat now, I don't think that's the thing to do. That's me personally speaking that. I think we got a workable budget here now. Was, a little tweaking still gonna be done based on what was said tonight. But to go back now and pull off some of the things that even the department head had recommended that they could work with and live with, I think it'd be a disservice. That's my opinion.
That's a good point.
And we all know that our money and revenue is gonna be so unpredictable this year. It's probably gonna be and I think Alderman Kitchen was, when he was asking the mayor about some of the projections, it was hard to project revenue for this year because of all the unknown. I mean, I think we all will agree there.
And we certainly don't want to try to balance a budget by inflating revenues.
Right, and so that wasn't done, at least that wasn't done. So I think we're at a point tonight, not for the approval, just still taking on the recommendation that's been done tonight is to massage those numbers and move forward, but to go back and really talk about the roof and thing like that, that's just my opinion. So I'm through. Now you can go on. I won't.
Well, I think we're saying the same thing. Maybe I didn't explain what I was saying. I think we're kind of saying the same thing. The numbers we have is what we have. Maybe we can tweak it down a little bit, but it ain't. I think,
So what's the effective difference between what you're proposing and what we've got?
well, I'm not proposing anything. I just got to think about it an hour ago. I'd like to take a look at it at the next meeting. At the next meeting. I think we're saying the same thing, Mr. Miller, so.
One of the things I noticed is, we discussed this a little bit as well, when you're looking at the main sources of revenue, obviously have the property taxes, and so everybody just start at the top. And then we have, building permits, electrical permits, plumbing permits, mechanical permits, some of these other fees and site plan reviews and some of those. What's the proposed budget is less than the actual for 2025. And I know, Austin, you worked on that with the mayor some. What do you see in there, I guess, for where we're landing and why that's a good projection, I guess?
So I try to project out 12 months of things I think are actually going to be shovel ready. This was an odd year. We did a lot of commercial with Delta Landing getting out of the ground. We had 2 hotels. There's just been a lot of commercial activity, which traditionally were residentially based permit type of revenue city. Next year, we have some things in the pipeline that the mayor and I talked about, like Tractor Supply. There's a few restaurants, a bank, another hotel. And so I'm trying, like the mayor said, we're trying to budget revenues conservatively. There are some prospects that I think could satisfy our budget completely, but I can't rely on that. And so there are subdivisions that we're approving that are going to be shovel ready in the next 12 months. The next phase is Scott Meadows, Gilbreth. Delta Landing has a large second or third phase coming on. So we will have some residential permits, but that we're learning is interest rate dependent on how fast those new starts go. So it is less than this year, but it was an odd commercial permitting year is what we kind of saw. And so we do see some growth, but maybe not quite as much as we saw this year.
That answer your question, Alderman Piper?
Yeah, but you got your input in with the mayor and all that. I think that's one of my thoughts is like, should we end up somewhere between what's proposed here and what the budget was last year? If it's not going to be as good, like some of the deltas on these are just 5 or 10%. Like, should we maybe tweak them down even a little bit more just to be a little more conservative with them? I mean, it sounded like it was, we're going from, I guess, building permits 271, 189 so far for this year, and then we're sliding it down to 260. Should we go to 250 and have like a 10% delta on it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're confident with the number, the mayor's confident with the number. I mean, that would be a. I know with some of these some of the building permits. I mean, it can be something that comes and goes. It's a hard thing to predict.
It is.
We could always approve it lower and then adjust it up if the revenues come in.
Yeah, then that difference would just be an increase, so, yeah, it's up to y'all.
On the flip side of that, also, as we go into the budget year, after the second quarter, if we see the revenue not coming, we can amend the budget also at that time.
that's what I mean,
Instead of
yeah.
amending it now and down and now, we could do it,
If they don't come in, just
right,
amend it down. Yeah.
then amend it. I mean, it's still doing it now. It's
think
gonna have the
that's-
same effect, I'm saying, though.
It's probably gonna be a lot more than what.
Right, I'm saying they have the same effect.
We actually talked about amending budgets in our finance committee today. And I think that the role of the finance committee is going to be very valuable as we look at things with extra sets of eyes every month, every other month to keep on track. And we talked about we can make amendments whenever this board's ready. If we see something going in a wrong trend with lower revenues or with higher revenues, we can amend the budgets. We legally can amend the budget every board meeting. We're not going to do that. But we could amend it 3 or 4 times a year to make it more accurate as we go along.
Is there I'm fuzzy on the rule. Is there a rule that says that as far as like expenditures, we can't amend those more than 10% within a year? Or?
That was, you were talking about doing the
It's
election
an
year.
election year.
You're talking about doing the election
Gotcha,
year.
okay.
Last year, our, term, we have restraints on what we can do.
Gotcha.
Would you correct on that? I mean, what is in that last year?
That law's in place so that an outgoing board doesn't leave.
We can't spend all the money and then let somebody else.
It's happened before.
Yeah, but that's what.
And I know Chief Ellis isn't here tonight, but I know this is something, Mayor, you can probably speak to, is the changes to the fuel, like how that's going to be handled
Yeah, so
and so it's something where
we've been using the fuel man card, and they were charging us fees that we didn't like. We thought they were too high over time. Of course, the fuel man card was handy. The police could go to our local gas stations and get gas. But the chief decided we were spending too much money we didn't have, so he's working with Lee Germany. Lee's going to start ordering the fuel again like we used to, and all the police cars will go to the old city shop and gas up there, which is not far from the police station, and it's going to save us a significant amount of money over the year. So we thought it was a good idea to go back to that old process.
Lee, do we still have like tracking capabilities and all that, so we know?
Yes, sir. Each individual will have a card assigned to them. And then they would put in their, it would of course be assigned to their vehicle also, and then they would put in their mileage, their odometer reading, and they'd be able to tell, anything
Okay.
silly was happening.
Gotcha.
We'll keep a few cards, I think, in the police department for travel, when they go, because they can't just gas up and leave without a card to get gas while they're on the road. But in general, they'll be stopping down there. So I guess my house is going to be a lot safer because they'll all be coming within a block of my house every morning to gas up.
Yeah, and when I met with Chief Ellis, he said that the tank that we have is the monthly amount that they're using is the exact,
That's right. It's a split tank. One side is 3,000 gallons, the other side is 8,000 gallons. So we use the gas side as the larger tank. We'll just order it in larger quantities than we order now to allow for their usage.
If y'all want to take a breather for a minute, I want to ask, is there anyone here that wants to stand up and speak about our budget tonight? This is a public meeting, and we want the input from the citizens. Yes, sir. Please come up.
Hi, I'm Dan Bearden, 1065 Feroni Drive in Nesbit. I appreciate the discussion about raises and things, and that takes me back to a day when I got a 3% raise. And I was on the low end of the pay scale of the whole group where this 3% was getting spread out. So I went to the man in charge and said, 3% on nearly nothing is a whole lot like nothing. And then 3% at the high end of the pay scale is new car, vacation, things like that. So I told him that I didn't know exactly how to break it down because I hadn't really put pencil to paper, but for your employees that are on the low end of the scale, a dollar amount of raise might convey a whole lot more about their value to the organization than 3%, because actually 3% is a pretty small number. So in fact, your lowest paid employee, permanent employee, might effectively get a 10% raise if they get a fixed dollar amount. But to that person on that low income scale, that might be a really big difference. And so I just toss that out there. I've never heard anybody propose to do that, but I remember it didn't feel good being on the low end of the pay scale when, woohoo, we get 3%. Well, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Good point.
That is a good point. It's especially when people on the lower end of the pay scale are harder to retain.
Anybody else want to speak? Go back to comments from the board.
Another one that might be better suited for Chief Ellis, but since a lot of y'all have been on the board for a while, you might know the answer to this. On line item 001-100-682, prisoner housing expense, there's an increase projected for this upcoming year, and I wanted to know, not necessarily why there'd be an increase, but is our cost for housing prisoners in line with, I guess not industry standard, but city, like comparable city standard, like, or?
The amount we pay per,
Yes.
I'm going to look down here at our experts.
Sorry, Alderman Wicker.
There's Attorney General's opinion that regulates that, so
Okay.
that's probably somewhere we probably could maybe go down a little bit, but it just depends on how many people they arrest.
And we've
Most
been
people they
trending
arrest.
upward the last
Gotcha.
couple of months. So that's why the
Okay.
chief had, and actually the number I adjusted it back down a little bit from what the chief had asked
Yeah.
for.
And Mayor, you may, I think one time, I think prior to the new members, there may be some discussion about the county increasing that rate, and we hadn't heard anything else about that, have we?
We haven't lately, we have not, but they have talked about it. Well,
Almost like one of them, the crew calls. We just handicap, ain't nothing we can do. I mean, we have to pass it on. We definitely ain't gonna be able to have no jail for the city.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
do y'all want to have a recessed meeting to talk about this, or just get all these questions answered, and I can send them all in an email to y'all, work with the clerks and the department heads on it, change some of the things y'all talked about in here and get it back out to you, and just come back on the first meeting in September?
What is the drop dead date, Mayor?
15th.
September 15th.
15th,
I think our
Of
first meeting in
September.
September is the 2nd, September 2nd. I'm good with waiting until September 2nd.
yeah, we do the second, so we have to have a recess. We can do it after the second,
that.
couldn't we?
Okay. So we won't worry about recessing tonight.
Could we get just a general, thought from the board about, removing the 3% for the aldermen and interjecting 3% for the mayor?
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
In that way they can work it in the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, and adding in the 3% for the mayor?
And 3% for the mayor and taking 3% off for all of us.
Said my piece.
I remember. I got you. Yeah, but at that point, some of the people that he's supervising be making more than him.
I think they might already, I think some of the police chief might already, right?
You see what I'm saying? We make it even worse. Anyway, that's out. I got you.
Are y'all through discussing for, no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna
Absolutely.
ask, do we have like do you have a pretty good list of all the questions we've asked to?
Yeah, you want me to read them?
And I have one more to add, and then, then I will stop. I'm sorry, I'm very inquisitive. All right, so this one pertains to line item 001-400-600 on the veterinary expenses. And it's like I don't know, roughly 30% jump on that one.
They are going up like crazy, and we
Okay.
have way more pet population than we have. We're maxed out right now.
Okay.
And it doesn't look like we're gonna not be maxed out for the whole year.
Okay.
So, and we spay, neuter, and give shots to every animal that comes through there.
Right.
Which is the thing we should be doing. And we just see the veterinary expenses increasing to make that happen.
Okay. I think that was
We
my
wish it
last
weren't so,
one.
but it is.
I think that was my last question. Let me make sure.
And I'm gonna read out the notes I've been taking.
Please do, yeah.
How much does it cost to outfit a police car? Get y'all the car inventory that the department heads have already turned in. I just need to get it to you. I'll get the parks job description for the assistant parks director to all the board members. The board of aldermen is not going to take a raise. Alderman, let's see, 3% raise for employees. That's what I've got so far. Anything I left off of there?
3%
I would
for
say
the
with
mayor.
Okay, slash mayor, got it.
And then any reductions that are made would go directly to the contingency.
All right, any reductions go to contingency. What I would like to do is get these questions answered and possibly back to y'all by next Tuesday in email form, all of them at the latest. And then after y'all look at them, it would be helpful if y'all could email me, or all through this process, if y'all could email me or call me with your suggestions on any other cuts we could make. So I'm not trying to do it alone. I need y'all's help.
That's gonna be borderline, Mr. Mayor, on solicitation of numbers, and it might go against
What y'all already
open
said.
meeting.
Okay, then we'll leave it
I
alone.
mean, and then I got the attorney, but I just wanted to bring,
Okay.
I just wanted to bring it out, I mean.
Better safe than sorry.
All right, then we'll leave it just with these.
You know,
then.
it's border on that.
If y'all have any questions in the
Same thing
interim,
to my transparency,
holler
so
at me.
I mean, that's,
All right, then I won't change anything except these things, and I'll work with department heads to find small savings in various line items again.
you can send them out, but we just won't respond.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't, I was just wanting to get y'all the information early so y'all have plenty of time to look at it.
Something that I did just want to mention, I think I'd either talk to you in person about it, Mayor Johnson, or maybe email. And it's not something that we could like solve before 2 weeks from now, but in general, looking at like a master service agreement on things like pest control and uniforms. I know it sounds like it's pennies, but death by a thousand cuts happens.
You did mention that to me, yes.
Because looking through the claims dockets on how many different providers we're paying versus being, single sourced on stuff and maybe being able to negotiate. We might even be able to negotiate with some other cities where we kind of band together on stuff. I don't know, but something to
I'll get the
potentially
department
think
heads
about.
together and see where we might can find some synergy on the uniforms and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it may be good too, because I know some of it's old information and it's new information for some as well, but like the vendors that we do use that pass along any sort of savings to us, I know like Complete Home Center gives us a little deal, right? But, some of these, it's a good deal for us, like just kind of detailing some of those out so that, when you look at that docket of claims, we have a lot of great small businesses we work with that they go the extra mile for us to earn the city's business. So it's good to have that information too.
Okay.
There's always one more thing, but we talked about the boring fees as well, like in the 400 budget for the utility fund, and it's been one that's been under budgeted and come in above it the last couple of years, and we're kind of keeping it the same. And the mayor was saying, Lee, there's going to be less boring, there's going to be less lines that are laid possibly, or that it's going to come to it's not coming to a halt, but it's going to slow down, you think?
I think so. I mean, our two primaries are, C-Spire and AT&T. They're everywhere. I I just
Yeah.
can't see that they keep up the pace, you know, so just trying to be safe on that.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's come in over every year, what we've estimated.
Okay.
We're just scared that, you know, until somebody comes out with some new technology,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be drying up, hopefully. Fiber's good, but it costs us a lot of money.
And just so everybody's clear on what's being asked, is we had budgeted a $65,000 revenue line item for the boring fees we collect. We have collected $139,000 this year, but we're only estimating the revenue of $65,000 in the new year, kind of thinking that they're going to run out of houses to just try to serve, because they're serving all the old neighborhoods. They're literally right here in downtown, finishing this up as we speak, and we feel like for a while they'll just be hitting new neighborhoods because they've about covered all the old ones. So.
That's right. And the overages in that were just 2 projects, I think both of which were ceasefire. 2 projects less, then we would have been pretty close to our revenue mark.
Anything else? Okay, if not, we'll get back to work tomorrow, Nicole. And we'll work with the department heads and start getting these answers to y'all and altering the budget as y'all have indicated, and we'll get back on at the next meeting. Okay, item 14 is utility adjustments. Could I have a motion on that?
Do we need a motion to recess our budget discussion, or does
This is not an advertised public hearing, so I
Okay.
don't think we do.
All right,
So item 14 would be the utility adjustments. Can I have a
Motion.
motion?
motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, item 15 is executive session for discussion with the city attorney on potential litigation pursuant to Mississippi Code Section 21-1-31. I need a motion to go into closed determination to go into executive session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. All right, we are in interim closed session.
Definitely.
Okay, this board is now in open session. We had discussed the proposed annexation from South Haven, and we were notified in writing legally that we had to discuss this and decide if we were going to contest that annexation. Does this board have a motion or a statement to make on that?
I have a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we do not contest the annexation of what is outlined in this map from South Haven.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Don't say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.